Hey everyone, Mark here with your playlist video for September 2017. I've got a handful of games for you to check out this month, so let's just jump straight in with SteamWorld Dig 2. So this game is basically a Metroidvania, but with a huge focus on mining. So that means you mine down deep into the dirt with your trusty pickaxe, you get treasure, and then you go back up to the surface. You cash in your treasure to get money and spend the money on new tools so that next time you can dig down deeper than you could before, and then do that all over again. It's actually a very compelling loop. You know, you start out very weak, you can't dig much, you can't hold much treasure, your lamp sucks, and you're weak against most enemies. But each time you return, you get stronger and stronger, and yeah, it's pretty addictive. But there's more to it than just an addictive, compulsive loop. I wouldn't really allow myself to get sucked into that sort of thing. That's basically what a clicker is, you know. But luckily there's more to it than that in SteamWorld Dig 2. You don't just mine for the sake of mining, but to get to new areas, to find new puzzle rooms with really clever puzzles and good gimmicks and good gameplay mechanics, to advance the story, to find new enemies. And the enemies are really cool. They interact with the environment in interesting ways. They cause chain reactions and have systemic little interactions with you. Pretty cool, I like that. A bit like Spelunky in that way. Anyway, I don't really remember the first game all that much, other than I enjoyed it, so I can't really tell you exactly how this new game updates the original, but it is good fun and I'm enjoying it a lot. It also has terrific music that I will no doubt steal and use on Game Maker's Toolkit one day, so listen out for that. Next up is Life is Strange Before the Storm. So I wasn't all that keen on trying out this game because, you know, it's a prequel to Life is Strange, and it's the protagonist of this game is Chloe, who I didn't really connect with that well in Life is Strange itself. Also, Chloe now has a new voice actor because of the voice actor strike, so that kind of sucks as well. And it's also not made by the original developer. It's made by Deck 9 instead of Don't Nod. And all of this kind of stunk of just cashing in on the surprising popularity of Life is Strange. However, this is actually really good. It's pretty much the same as Life is Strange in that it's a sort of Telltale style adventure with super light puzzles and a much greater focus on dialogue, but most of that dialogue is really good. Of course, there is plenty of cringy stuff here, just like in the first game, including these new comeback battles where you insult people, and it's a bit like a rap battle or insult sword fighting from Monkey Island, but just not very well done and kind of bad. But there's also loads of good stuff. I liked playing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign with Chloe's friends, and there's some great flirty chemistry stuff with Rachel Amber. Most of all, the game really opens up Chloe's character and explains why she is the way she is, and it's kind of painful in a way that most good prequels are, in that they feel like a ticking time bomb towards the inevitable events of the main thing. It gives a whole new perspective to Life is Strange. I also really liked how the game tweaked some of its mechanics to fit Chloe's character. So she writes her current objective on her hand, she does graffiti tags instead of taking photos, and so on. I'm really looking forward to episode 2 on this one.
Nice one, Chloe. Mom's gonna love the new look.
Dishonored Death of the Outsider is more Dishonored, really. It's a DLC, sort of standalone DLC for Dishonored 2, and that is just a good thing because Dishonored is known for its terrific stealth mechanics, great level design. This one also has a brilliant bank heist level that I will almost certainly do a video on, and of course all the immersive sim stuff, you know, real choice in how you approach the game, systems butting up against each other, dynamic enemy AI, the works. But one thing kind of lets down Death of the Outsider for me, and that is the powers. Billy only has 3 powers after all. She's got a teleport thing that's a bit more interesting than the traditional blink power, a crazy foresight power that lets you stop time, fly around and mark enemies through walls, which feels a bit like cheating to be honest, and the ability to nick someone's face and basically be in disguise like you're playing Hitman for as long as your mana holds up. And they're all good and interesting, but I have had trouble finding interesting ways to make them stack or use them in particularly interesting ways. Each one kind of just does one thing and works on its own. There is a cool combo though with Foresight and Displace, where you can fly off, set a displaced target, and then teleport there when you start time again. But that's about all I found. Anyway, I'm always down for more Dishonored, so I am still enjoying myself, and I just love wandering through people's houses, rifling through notes and trinkets, and then planning my perfect stealth route to assassinate everyone in the world. But I haven't become as addicted to this as I was with Dishonored 2 itself.
Entire shipment of whale oil tanks just gone. Taken right from under the
Heat Signature is a really interesting game with a lot of potential, but I feel like you have to work quite hard to unearth that potential. Okay, so the game is a top-down thing, and it looks a bit like Hotline Miami, and you are breaking into spaceships, which involves neutralizing loads of guards, also like Hotline Miami, but that's kind of where the similarities end. Instead, you can pause time to consider your next move or line up the perfect shot, and you're supposed to use more interesting tactics than just shooting or stabbing everyone, such as teleporting or swapping with people or hacking turrets or things like that. It's a mini top-down Dishonored. And that can lead to the sort of terrific procedurally generated anecdotes you get in immersive sims. You know, there's that time when you got knocked out and then you teleported a mine to your location that blew up a bad guy, but that smashed open a window and shot you into space, but then you remote controlled your spaceship to come pick you up and finish the mission. You know, that sort of stuff. It's great. It's just those stories often come between lots and lots of rather more uneventful missions where you just slip in, kill everyone and slip out. That's always the struggle with random generation. There's just no guarantee that the levels will be that good. Still, it's an enjoyable game, and if you stick with it, you will be left with some great stories to tell people. And finally, a quick shout out to Mario and Rabbids, which I sadly have not played as much as I would have liked. There are just simply too many games at the moment. So if you somehow missed this, it's a strange spin on XCOM, of all games, with Mario and the Rabbids coming together to fight, well, other Rabbids, and sometimes Mario bosses. I don't know, there's a whole story and it probably makes sense if you're paying more attention. It almost sounds like a recipe for disaster. I mean, the last time we gave a gun to a platforming mascot, we got Shadow the Hedgehog, but it's actually really fun. The main thing is that it's more agile and mobile than XCOM. Between jumping on people's heads and popping through pipes and sliding into enemies, the game will see you speeding around the map like a mad thing. And that's a lot of fun. But it's also just enjoyable to see how much the game takes from XCOM with stuff like Overwatch and many elements of the UI, and also fun to see how they put a particularly Mario-like spin on the whole thing. It's just funny and bizarre, but it is a lot of fun to play and I like it a lot. I just need to dedicate a bit more time to it. Okay, that is what I've got so far in September. To be honest, lots of games just dropped that I haven't had a chance to play yet, like Echo and Hob and Cuphead, so I'll be back in October with even more stuff. Please slow down the games industry. I can't keep up. Oh, Golf Story just came out? I don't know. How do I do it? How can I do it? That's the question. Okay, cheers. Bye.